Well, hello everyone. It is Friday Night Live, and yes, we are a little late, but that's because it was me. I was the one who, well, I sent it to the wrong email. What can I say? Yeah. But we used it as a learning experience. Deborah got a stress test, and Anja and I were going, we were just catching up.
Yeah.
So I just want to welcome my guest tonight, Anja. Thank you for coming back again. So
Thank you
good
for
to see
having me
you.
again.
Oh, delightful. And we are privileged, and I use that word seriously, with Deborah Tucker. How are you doing, Deborah?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me, Wayne. I appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you. We live in a world of today where we don't realize how many people are really on the path, ladies. It's quite amazing. And I thought that having everyone, by the way, I just want to say hello to all the moderators. Thank you. And all the folks in the chat room and watching. That as, and I tell you, I get emails all the time from people whose lives are being changed. And I think it's now important that we begin to look at what the definition is for alchemy and magic, because I see those two working hand in hand. How do y'all see it?
I totally agree. Absolutely.
Yes, it's
yeah,
physics, it's alchemy, it's math, it's everything combined. It's the element, it's
the
the
elements.
energy,
Yes.
it's pure. And the
Yeah.
more we push through it, like now, especially with everybody discovering it, like with what you said on your last show, with that we're all gods, like when we're like, I find the awakening, the knowledge, this is what will free us totally,
Yes, I agree. And it seems like the powers to be for millennia have fought to keep this knowledge out, and they do it by the disparaging of people who seem to get it, because oddly enough, it's not the aristocrats. It's most often the common man and woman who discover these secrets and begin to apply them to their life, much like yourself, Deborah. Is that correct?
Totally correct. Be honest, I kind of done it by mistake.
Well, tell us about that.
I just stumbled on it. Well, I had been on a lot of pain medicine for probably about 27 years, about 9 different medications. And, I got to a point in my life where it was pretty much do or die. I was just in so much pain, and they just kept giving me pain medicine. It was just constant. And I seen something somewhere about oils, and I could not, in my brain, I could not understand how putting an oil on your body would help pain. I mean, I could not commute that, And anyway, I got a book on it, kind of studied it a little bit, and started making my own recipes and just doing it on myself. And after about a year, I was off of 9 medications.
Amazing. So can I
go ahead?
Because I like to, as you tell your story, I want to get injected into this. So you said you started working, making your own oils. Can you get a little bit more into depth what you mean?
Well, I purchased oils, but I was making my own recipes.
Okay.
I got a book that they kind of gave me guidelines.
Thank you. Okay. Evidence-based essential oil therapy. Thank you. Okay. Excellent.
And I started just kind of working with the recipes. They got all kind of recipes. I call them recipes, I was taking stuff in capsules and topical at the time, because I still had in my mind, you had to take it orally,
Mm-hmm.
That was where I was. So anyway, I'd done that a while, but anyway, after a year's time, I was off of all 9 medications. Yeah, I mean, there were, pain pills, muscle relaxers, gabapentin, Lyrica, Xanax,
Lyrica, huh?
Yeah, both of them,
That's a nasty, nasty drug.
That was the hardest one to get off of. That was worse than the opioids.
Yeah, that's
Because
one
it
of
makes you
the,
addicted.
It does.
yeah. And it also alters the neuroreceptors, which is, yeah, it just jacks with you. In fact, my doctor wanted to prescribe that to me for the fibromyalgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I took one dose of it and my body immediately said, Jack. Because you know what I found out, ladies, what I found out that it affected me the most on was my memory.
That's what it does. I'll tell you a story just real quick. I'm kind of forgetful anyway, so I mean, it doesn't take much to make it worse, but I was on that for a while, and one day I was folding towels, and I was in the middle of folding a towel, and I forgot how to fold a towel.
Uh-oh.
And that was true. I mean, I was looking at a towel and could not remember how to fold a towel. And that's when I was on Lyrica.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible, really.
Well, it is terrible. And, I asked my doctor, I said, so let me ask you something. The CBDs have been most effective in, where neuroreceptors are concerned, particularly with fibromyalgia. And I said, it doesn't affect my memory one iota. I said, so let's see, if I'm going to weigh this, what am I going to do? Well, I'm glad to see you got off of that. So alchemy, that is alchemy at its purest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you started too, just experimenting, right? And
That's
that's
all I
what I
did.
did too.
Mm-hmm.
But that shows us without having any knowledge, we have it in you, in us. We have the knowledge all in us. It is there. So we just have to dig it out again.
Well, after that, I wanted to help other people, my family, neighbors, people that had, I don't care if it was a cold, I was mixing something up. Well, try this, try this. And they call me medicine woman, Dr. Quinn, and voodoo lady, and,
Yeah, that's all right. The mojo that you've got going is good voodoo, no matter who do it.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, I've done that for a while, but then I got a book. I got another book, which it took me a while to find it. Essential Oils and Spiritual Practices.
Well, how cool is that?
And it took me a little bit to find it because I wanted to find something on the chakras. And but anyway, I don't agree. I don't know. I say I don't agree with everything. I may not resonate with everything in the book, but I took out what I felt comfortable with, and that's what I worked with. Excellent. And then after, found that I can actually set an intention with it and speak, into the oils. And I started using all my oils are 12,000 hertz frequency. I play for 3 hours. So I just started doing little things to kind of add to it. And it seems, like it's helped.
Excellent. Now, I want to point out something to the audience as well. You said that it didn't all resonate, so you took out what did. And I think, Anja, I think that when you're making incantations, that so often when I've read books on magic and casting spells, some of it resonated and some didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And after a while, you just make your own. I mean, especially with spells, I'm very anal. Like, I don't believe in Googling that at all. You really have to bring out yourself, right?
Thank you.
And same with the herbs, same with Deborah. I know which herbs is for what. But if I work with a person like you, Wayne, with your fibromyalgia, I had another friend that had that. Mm-hmm. I just do the energy. I do the energy work. And then I scan the body. And this is when I start throwing my herbs together. So I don't go after a recipe book.
It's that intuition that I so wish that we could transfer to everyone that's watching this, because I think that sometimes becomes so elusive. And Deborah, when I get
distracted, they don't want us to know that.
Yes. Now, Deborah, do you go out and collect any natural substances out there at all that, or because
No, I'd probably just get poison ivy. I'd come back with a big old bushel of poison ivy. No.
now you live in you live in Tennessee, is that correct?
No, I live in Northwest Arkansas.
Northwest Arkansas. Well, it's abundant.
Yeah.
It's abundant.
Everywhere.
Yes, and I'm a person that has a great sensitivity to that particular oil. That's what it is too. It's an oil.
It is.
Now, how interesting is that? Because we're talking about oils, but isn't it interesting how one oil can be so reactive? Oh, wow, ladies, I'm just getting some real insight on this, that the
It's
activation
always
of,
about the
balance.
dosage. Like even
yes,
poisonous plants, they're not poisonous. It's all about the dosage and what you like. Nightshade, yeah, it's poisonous if you suck up all the berries.
yeah,
But if you pull out the ingredients, it's good for heart diseases, right?
mm-hmm.
Or mandrake, it's a narcotica. So if you're a pain patient, it can really help you. If
Yeah.
you really aware, I'm not saying to anyone try mandrake if you have no experience. Please do not try that at home.
Yes, don't consume this. But it's like we have a plant here that grows in the mountain called blackjack, and it actually you can put the oil on and it repels mosquitoes and those biting little gnats.
Yeah.
But where it comes to poison ivy, sumac, oak, it doesn't matter. I seem to get overabundance of the oil. So now it's interesting when we talk about the oils. Can we get a little bit more into the science of this? Because this is something I'm a neophyte. I don't have the knowledge. My calling is in a different direction. I know, Anja, you and I were talking just prior to that, how there is a calling that we all have. So can we get into a little bit more of what is the basis for the oils themselves? Where does this come from? How does this begin to work for the individual? Deborah, I'll let you talk.
Okay. Be honest,
Well, I didn't think you were lying.
No. I couldn't tell you. I mean, it just kind of comes to me. I see the oil, I can feel the vibration of the oil.
Interesting.
And I can tell that a vibration is going to, everything is vibration. That's
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's one of the principles of the 7 principles.
That's what I see. I see vibration when I see oils, and it raises your vibration, and it helps with helps your body activate its own healing properties or potential, or whatever you want to say it. But oils also brings back memories. It opens the senses in, parts of your brain that brings back memories. It can activate your chakras. It can do a lot of things, but it'll raise your vibration, but you also got to have the heart also. It all goes back to having heart. You have to have faith. You got to be gratitude. At least I find, it'll help you raise your vibration, but that person's got to be in a place to accept this vibration and make a change also. I mean, if you're not, changing things or seeking, to me, it's not going to help that much, to be honest.
Well,
True.
How interesting that you use the one element that, I talked about this week, faith.
Yeah.
Faith is that activator, isn't it?
It is. It is.
When
I can tell you, when I started using the oils, and it was because I was in so much pain. I was just, at a point in my life where I had to love myself enough to make a change.
Ooh, that's good.
I had to love myself. I couldn't keep doing it. And it wasn't like I was a druggie. I was on medication. I was in pain, but it was a point where I had to love myself. And when I loved myself, all of a sudden I was thinking, I don't really care what happens. I'm grateful. I'm content. You know, it just made me feel different when I started saying, you know, I'm blessed, you know.
Yeah, you raised your vibration.
It raised my vibration, and I was thinking these things, you know, and you know, my neighbor didn't aggravate me as much as it used to, you know.
Right.
I could actually wave to him now. But you know, it's
it does have that effect, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But it was the inner thing, you know, and
yeah,
it kind of just went from there with me. You know, it activated a lot of things in me. And, you know, and for a year, you know, I had a lot of growing, a lot of things happened to me, a lot of things I, you know, really couldn't explain. But it was just because I raised my vibration and I had love in my heart, you know.
Deborah, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Have you ever been aware, or were you aware of the 7 principles of Hermes?
Nope.
You see, this is what amazes me. And I know you've been following the reading and the studying that we're doing. Do you see the correlation? I mean,
definitely. When I look at it now, be honest, I'd never really heard of it until just here recently. There's things happened to me that I couldn't explain and didn't know why or how, or it made sense when it was, you know, but I didn't know there was actually a reason that was happening. There was, you know, a law, you know, the Hermetics. I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
It was happening anyway, but I didn't understand.
We're doing it all along without knowing.
Without knowing, yes.
And Anja, when it comes to casting spells, and you know, you made me a special mixture. Let's talk about this, because what Deborah has just so wonderfully demonstrated in real life was the principles in action, which leads me to when we begin to look at taking the elements that aid us. That intention must play a very big role in this.
Big role.
How do you see that as well, Anja?
Yeah, well, absolutely. You need to be like in your middle, right? You need to know, okay, this is what I want. Because other than that, again, it's about energies. And if you're not sure about it, and especially with a spell, you just shoot energy all over the place, right? So you really have to be aware of what you're doing.
I love that, by the way.
And with the incense, like if you smudge in a little bowl, it symbolizes all the elements. The chloral is the fire, the herb is the earth, the smoke is the air, right? So and the sand, if you put sand in a bowl, that's the water. And for me, all this gathering together of all the elements, this brings you to the center.
Yeah. Let's talk about this, because this is important. It's the fact that when we mix the ingredients of air, water, fire, earth, these become the steps of the initiates to begin to understand the mastering of the elements, which Deborah and Anja, what I'm looking at here, you're definitely, I think, grades ahead of many of us, but it's wonderful to see that it, in fact, in living example of both of y'all's lives.
Yeah, that's why Deborah's oils, you know what you put in for what, and the same is with the incense, which resin you choose, which herb. The one is healing, the other cleansing, the other gets your thought going, the other calms you down. So even if you just burn a little incense at night for you after a stressful day with copal or frankincense or lavender.
So let's stop and talk here, because I want to share this with y'all. So for myself, I've had the inner intuition that I needed to start gathering certain ingredients. And one of them was, in fact, myrrh and frankincense. Mm-hmm. And a subscriber was very gracious and kind to send me some. So can we talk about the elements that is released in a mixture, let's say, of myrrh or frankincense?
Well, frankincense is actually a mix. It's like a myrrh, frankincense, copal, benzoin, like all these resins together is actually the frankincense. So,
Okay.
and frankincense, it just has different names, right? So
Okay.
it's just a mix of
Okay.
all that. That makes the frankincense. That's also what they smudge in the church, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And that's actually very cleansing. It raises the vibes, the atmosphere. So like if you're upset, it will calm you down, right? It will take away the anger. And it's even good when you've been ill, when you've been sick. It will
Really?
clean the energies out of the sickness. Same as juniper. It's perfect when you've been sick with a flu or in a hospital. It just cleans us all away.
Juniper.
Yeah, juniper.
I'm going to have to get this. You see, I think, ladies, that every one of us need to have a medicine chest.
And you have it in your kitchen cupboard when you cook.
I know it. That's what I was just thinking.
Rosemary, for example. Everybody has, well, almost everybody has rosemary or thyme.
Yeah,
Rosemary
yeah.
is one of the favorite witches' herbs. It's not all about the nightshade family, what everybody thinks.
So what's that do? What was the herb?
Rosemary.
Rosemary. So let's talk about that. What does that do?
That's very good for protection if you want to protect yourself in a ritual. And it will also cleans the space you do your ritual.
So would you smudge it the same thing as you would use sage for?
Yes, you can do that. Like if you don't have sage, like you can just go to your kitchen cupboard and smudge a little rosemary instead of cooking with it.
Well, I
You
love
know?
the smell of rosemary. I mean,
Yeah, me too.
it's really when I lived. Yeah, yeah. When I lived in Austin, Texas, actually, I had two big ones in my front yard. So I could always go out there and clip that. I didn't even know that. You see, it's right there. So let me ask you something that I have in there as well. So cinnamon, that's a bark, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the sticky.
Yeah, the cinnamon. Yeah. So is there any type of properties to that?
The fire.
It helps you ground. It helps you
does.
ground. Yes, a grounding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like frankincense is one of my favorite. I put frankincense on every day. I put it in my diffuser. I huff it. I mean, I'm constantly I'm a huffer, you know.
Put
Yeah.
your face in it.
But
I love this.
you know, but the frankincense helps connect to the ether.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's, and I feel, you know, ether is my element. I feel like ether is my element. So frankincense just resonates with me. You know, some people don't
What
like
about cloves?
I don't like it.
You don't like cloves?
No.
Anja, what about cloves?
Cloves. Wait, let me look up the word cloves in German. Sorry.
That's okay.
No, I use it in recipes, but I mean, I don't work with it.
Oh yeah,
you know?
it's Nelke. Yeah, sorry, that was the German word. Nelke.
Okay, I'm learning. You see, folks, you can become bilingual in Friday Night Lives. No, speaking in Deutsch.
That is good for creativity and intuition.
Yeah.
Now, what was that?
Creativity and intuition.
Isn't that odd? Because true story here, ladies. I was at the grocery store going down the spice aisle and instinctively bought cloves.
Because you knew it.
You see? So when I look at this Anja as beginning to work our own magic, for myself, then it was just from intuition and experience. You know, I developed the favor cleansing ceremony, and it's working. I mean, I got people writing, and I knew it would. It does. And which tells me that if one can begin to acquire knowledge here, then going to a teacher like yourself, Anja, I can begin to learn how to begin to look at different herbs, different elements. Deborah, with your knowledge of oils, because both of you ladies, when you were talking, I'm going back to Franz Barden's book, in the Initiation to Hermetics. And he says that both the smoke and that which touches the skin and permeates the skin opens up things.
It does.
Yeah.
My head will start tingling. When I'm mixing oil for other people, I do a chakra oil that's customized. And when I try to connect to the person, and I put something in it to cover all the chakras, but I kind of connect with them and I can see where they have areas that they need improvement or they need a little help with. And it just kind of comes to me what to
So Deborah, you made this for me, I believe, right?
Yes, I did.
Yes, thank you. Folks, you need to buy this stuff. I just want to let you know I've been using this intuition particularly. That's powerful stuff. You know, it's phenomenal. And it just amazes me is that I'm becoming more aware of this. And then Anja, you sent me your special mixture, and I'm saying, you know what? We've got to spread this around.
Yes.
This is good. This is good.
Like Deborah, I made that just for you. I was sitting there, you know, trying to get a little in your energy. Not that I would do that without your permission, going full in. But
now this is what Anja made for me, folks. And, you know, we've talked about how I'm going to release this. I already have a ceremony in mind. And you see, I think that this is how it was always meant to be.
Oh, most definitely.
That's how it was used to. Look at the oracle from Delphi. They smudged.
Yeah.
They used for their rituals, for their oracle, to get their views, which you can get too, right? There's certain herbs where you can raise your visions.
Yeah.
And I'm getting into them now, but yeah.
Well, actually, we ought to talk about that sometime. I'd like to, you know.
Yeah. But there are also, you can connect to your higher self, to the other, to the veil. I'm saying it right now. On my show, I kept selling the veil. Oh my God, until.
That's all right. I mean, you know.
And someone, veal have thick legs. And I'm like, what? And then I realized it. So you can like break the border, right? To the veil. You can connect to the universe, to your spirit guides. And you can cleanse yourself. You can heal yourself. It's amazing. It's really like with the oils, it's just pure energy.
It really is. And, you know, I go back to adventures of my youth. 17 out in West Texas, we actually participated in a vision quest, and we used peyote. And the medicine man that was leading us was quite interesting because smoke and the ingredients that he was using in the fire, it had a profound effect on all of us that were sitting in the circle.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was powerful. And I often wonder as well, if I'd had the knowledge of the oils, how much more that would have enhanced that.
Yeah.
I had a friend back in Germany when I was starting. Sorry, Deborah.
Go ahead.
Didn't mean to interrupt you. He was raised as a druid, but like really the old way. He would never talk about it, and he wouldn't go to Stonehenge either on Summer Solistic, right? Like he was like, they're all like, have a screw loose. So, and we was celebrating Samhain, and he was mixing something for us, and then he started burning it on the other side of the room. Little Anya went there. Oh, that smelled nice. And he was yelling at me, do not shove your face in there. And I was like, it was too late. I just tripped for a minute. I was just like, whoa. And I swear, I thought I was falling. Oh my God, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. I was like, there is a reason that I'm on the other end of the room with that. I was like, okay. But that was at the beginning when I didn't know.
For some reason, I had this mental image of a rocket being lit. You know, woof, you know, she's
Yeah, I
gone.
was really like, whoa.
Woo! It's done. So, all right. So we got this element there, and you know, obviously, you have to have some knowledge of herbology. You have to have a basic working understanding of the elements and the herbs, etc. When we talk about oils, Deborah, I've seen people that my stepdaughter uses it every day. She uses it, and she actually takes some that she actually takes orally. Says it gives her terrible indigestion, and I said, "So why are you doing this?" But anyway, because I hate indigestion. You know, it's like, why do I want to take that? So, you know, it immediately gets you an aversion. You know, you're going, well, okay, all right. But let's talk about the different types of oils. Are there different classes of oils?
Oh, I'm sure there are. I work with what comes with me. I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, you're
I'm
an intuitive.
simple. I'm just, you know, I'm simple. What comes with to me intuitively is what I work with. You know, mine is more tuning into what somebody needs. And most of it, I make a pain oil for your back and joints. I make that. It was part of it was in this book, and the other part is stuff that I added to it, and it works really well. You know,
And you use it, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
I mean, that's what I got off of non-medications was on that medicine. And there's a lot of people in the chat that buys oils from me, and you know, they could tell you how it works or whatever. But
by the way, you need to send me that information because I somehow didn't find it. But I want to make sure that people have a way to get in touch with both of y'all. So,
okay.
because pain, let's just talk about this for a second. When we talk about pain in the United States, it is estimated that I think the last one I read, 7 out of 10 Americans are on pain management, pain medication, and by the excuse me, that we're not even taking into consideration the Tylenols, the aspirins, the Excedrins, and everything else that's out there.
Yeah.
Tylenol is the worst.
Exactly. And I am sure that it really is. I have a feeling.
And people pop it like candy. Oh, I think I'm getting a headache. Whoop.
Yeah.
You see, I think they're taking bad black magic in. They're taking bad magic when they're taking these pharmaceuticals.
Yeah,
That's what
I
I
believe that
It's
too.
negative.
Yeah.
Negative energy.
Yeah, negative energy. Yeah, I swear that they. No, I'll stay.
They want to dumb us down. They want to make us sick. They want to keep us sick. They want to keep us dumb.
Well,
Yeah, because I've never seen.
They feed on us. They're
Yeah, they
feeding
do.
on that pain.
Yeah.
You know, we are, our souls are worth something. That pain is worth something to them. They're feeding on us. We're not, you know,
Billions and billions of dollars is what it's worth to them.
Yeah, you know. But they feed on that, you know.
They do feed on that.
You know, so
and it's quite interesting when you think about the fact that no drug that's sold by the big pharma or even over the counter is ever designed to cure you.
No.
It's just designed for you to cope. Or what is the word they use? Manage.
Exactly.
Yeah, because then you have the side effects and whoop. Oh,
yeah.
Then
So
eat the next one.
So what we do is that we ostracize witches, we ostracize magicians that use the elements, the herbalists, the adepts that know how to heal the body.
Yeah.
And that's called and regulated. And some places this flat out outlawed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. I mean, there has been an ongoing debate here in the United States with the FDA specifically dealing with oils.
Yeah.
I have no doubt if it continues to show the remarkable ability to cure people,
Yeah.
to help them throw off the addiction to the pharmaceutical companies, they will regulate it or just flat out make it illegal.
You know,
That's why many plants are called poisonous.
Yeah.
Like
well,
I said,
just me getting off of all my medicines, non-medicines, however much that was a month, through the insurance, through my copay. Just one person, that was a lot of money.
I was going to say probably I would $1,000 or so.
Easily.
Yeah.
You know, so more than one, it starts a domino effect. You know, they're going to take notice. You know, they are.
And Anja, we know as far as witches are concerned, those who are, self-professing, self-practicing witches, warlocks, wizards, these have been ostracized by the church and quite vigorously by political parties.
yeah, same with all the other ancient cultures like Mayans,
Yeah.
Celts, right?
Yeah. By the way, next weekend I'm going to have Ravenwolf coming on and talking about the Mayans.
About the Mayans, yeah, she's
Yeah.
awesome. You will love her.
Yeah. So, but this is the history we're having to do with. But here's what I do know, ladies, is the fact that the information that we're sharing with people is having a positive effect. And for the life of me, I can't see where the negative is in that.
Beyond there is no negative.
Not for us, for them.
For them, yes. For us, no.
You're going to get in trouble now, Anja. They're gonna... Someone said that to me, and I said, well, that's just a perpetual state of mind for me. It's like getting in trouble.
Just like plants and rainbows. So
you see, that's just it. I know I got Jeff Doherty in my head, of pixies and rainbows and fairies,
fairies.
It's like, all right, well, I'm all in, I've bought this much, I might as well just go ahead and get into the whole deal. But we laugh because the pain of what the reality is that when you see more and more people becoming addictive by antidepressants, antipsychotic, you can just go through the laundry list.
Yeah.
And here's why we need to begin to start practicing our own magic, ladies. And this is why I'm becoming more convinced of it. When you look at the studies in the United States, and I dare say it's probably up in Canada as well, Anja, is the fact that the municipal water systems are so contaminated now with the estrogen and the antipsychotic, antidepressant, et cetera, drugs.
And fluoride, and I don't know. I'm not drinking tap water.
It's crazy, folks. I mean, that is bad magic as far as I'm concerned. We have to begin, Deborah, this, like you said, with the knowledge of essential oils. Anja, when we can begin to develop mixtures like this that has a positive effect. The way I kind of look at this is that blessings for me means a state of where nothing's missing and nothing is broken.
Yes.
So when I mix this and when I burn it, that's exactly how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
And Deborah, when I think about your story, how you got off the pain medication, particularly, Lyrica, since it's some nasty stuff, that in the essence, you did the same thing.
I did.
Yeah.
I took my life back.
You did take your life back.
They had me, they controlled me. Everything,
they had your number.
My whole existence was around my medicine,
Yeah.
It was. My whole life was wrapped around that. And, you know, I took my life back. I showed
Ooh.
myself love.
Exactly.
You know, this is,
It all goes back to the heart.
it does, doesn't it?
And they're
All
so
of it.
fast with subscribing. Like I went just for a regular checkup, and what was it? Yeah, it was a checkup. So, and so he said, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm good. I'm a little tired, but I was just in a separation from my ex who was an alcoholic."
That can get tiring.
Yeah. So I said, "But other than that, I'm good, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he was like, I got something for you. I'm like, what, money? I'm like, from what? Right? He was like, no. He was like, here, try that. That's new on the market. I'm like, for what? Well, I'm afraid you're depressed. I'm like, how would you guess that? Because I said, I'm tired. He was like, yeah, you have a lot of stress. I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm moving out. And that's why I'm feeling better already. I'm just tired from the stress. So he wanted to subscribe me antidepressants. And he was like, oh, that's new in the market. I'm like, what am I, a guinea pig? I said, I'm not taking that. I'm like, I don't need antidepressants.
You know, as you were talking, I was projecting. I was asked, I was outside. This has got me thinking. This conversation. Now, when I begin to think about the large pharmaceutical companies, they're actually wizards.
They are.
Exactly. Thank you.
They're black wizards.
They're
dark.
black wizards, exactly, because
They do
this
their
is
alchemy.
this is a spell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is no different than the poison apple.
No.
You know,
No, because like when I do energy work with people that have issues, right? I can see right away the attachment, and I can right away see it's drug abuse, alcohol abuse. They can't even fool me. I know that right away. I have many people not telling me. I'm like, you little slip.
continue.
Yeah.
Lucy, you got some explaining to do.
I got ways to find out.
We know you. Anyway,
So yeah,
very interesting.
very interesting.
Yes, but I believe it's through the pharmaceuticals that these entities come into our being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're consuming the pill. You know, hell, we don't have to have the blue or red one. We've got multicolored ones now.
Yes,
You know?
Marty.
See, those energies, we're ingesting them and they're
Thank you.
attaching to us. But when you raise your vibrations through oils, for me, this is how it worked. It raised my vibration and basically I shook that off. I shook all that energy off.
Yeah, because I don't think that these are high level demons or entities. I think that these are very, but you know, the problem is they're like fleas. The more that you collect, the more they become stronger. And I think, and so often it's like Gulliver Travels, the Lilliputans have got us laid back.
Yeah.
But this is interesting.
Well,
This is
I can tell you.
people have to work. Sorry, Deborah.
What's
Yeah,
that?
that's fine.
No, go
But
ahead.
I was going to say, when I was in that lower vibration, taking this medicine, you know, I'm very sensitive to spirits. You know, I'm a dreamer. I see things, and I was being attacked a lot. Nightmares. I was always trying to keep me in fear, and I could feel these things attaching me, touching me, and once I raised my vibration, all that fear stopped. Now I still had spirits touching me, but they were loving spirits after that.
I had one the other night give me a Charlie horse.
Yeah, they will.
I mean, seriously. I mean, it wasn't frightening. It wasn't a negative energy.
No, you can tell. You can tell.
Yeah. And I woke up and I said, "What the hell?" I said,
They wanted to give you some love.
well, I was feeling the love, darling. It was coming in.
Sleep apnea, for example.
So,
Yeah.
it's just, It was crazy. But, you know, this show tonight, if there's anything that I believe that we have really brought out, and it wasn't by intention at all, is the awareness, ladies and gentlemen, that we have got to begin to think about when we're ingesting these chemicals, these drugs, whether the government says they're safe for us or not. That's not the issue here.
Right.
No,
No.
I don't believe the G anyways. I'm not saying anything.
The man.
I just like plants
That's
and
the
rainbows.
man.
The man, you know, we were talking about the man back in the 70s, you know,
And he's still there.
and the thing is, exactly, it's still there. And, you know, it's odd because as I have become much more, how should we say, the awareness continues. Growing up, I didn't, you know, I was around alchemists all the time. I had guys that were developing LSD in chemistry labs. And who'd have thought that that is really kind of the highest type of alchemy?
It is the highest type. It is.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know this.
Well, some I always kind of wanted to, I don't know, tell you, but I can relate with you that you done acid when you were younger, and you think that kind of helped your mind.
I know it did.
open up.
Yeah.
Well, I did when I was younger, and I think that's why I'm here now. You know,
I agree. Anja, how about yourself? Have you, in your experience, any kind of mind expanding awareness?
Oh yeah, like that's when I like not LSD or anything, but like with my herbs, right?
Yes.
There's some certain mushrooms, not that I eat them, I smudge them.
Yeah.
Belladonna, mandrake, like, and what is that famous witch herb? Shoot, now I forgot the English name for it. That always happens to me, sorry.
That's all right. Listen, I think it's remarkable that you can think in German and English. I love it. You know.
So
Or is it English or German? I don't know. But, you know, let me digress here a second, ladies, if I may. So in my experimentation, done LSD, done mescaline, which is primarily a derivative of peyote, and the psilocybin, which is mushrooms, was the one that, oddly enough, brought me more into the animal and plant kingdom than the other two. We were out in Texas. I grew up outside of Houston, and actually right in Houston, but we were out in a field that had cows, and that was before they could alter the manure. So we would go out and pick the psilocybin mushrooms every morning, and we were eating them. And the next thing I know, ladies, for serious, these cows surrounded us, and they began talking amongst themselves. And it was like one was mooing, and they would take one step closer to the circle. And I'm sitting there, and I'm saying, all right, Steiger, this is just a hallucination. But the cows would start talking again, and they would get closer. That taught me right there that there are different portals to different parts of the spirit realm. That's all I'm going to say.
Henbane was the word. Sorry, I just looked it up because it was bugging me. Henbane.
Henbane.
That's one of the witch herbs, and also like all the ingredients together. So this is where the word comes, the mystic comes from. Witches are flying. Holy.
Oh, really?
They used to make a cream out of fat from the animals, mixed it with those, and put it on their skin.
Okay.
And that was opening them up to whatever, to get their, whatever they needed to see.
Interesting.
So kind of like LSD, just with her.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes from. Witches are flying, right? Because
witches are flying. I can get that. And in my study of all ancient cultures, every culture I've studied has some sort of hallucinogenic or intoxicant that connects you to the gods or God. I mean, as you said earlier, Anja, in the Catholic Church, they use the frankincense. Is that what's in there? It's frankincense,
Yes,
right?
frankincense.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is to do several things. Number one, cleanse the air, right? Cleanse the space. And the other one is to invoke the spirit.
What are they gonna invoke?
It's also protection. Frankincense is it's a
Protection.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, isn't that interesting? Because, the Pope is saying that the reason the church is under attack and all the ill wills is that the devil is winning the battle. And so I'm going, oh boy, here we go.
Deborah needs some oil for my migraine. Here they go, right?
Yeah.
The darkest of the darkest. Like,
Yeah, isn't it the truth though? I mean, I should get Jeff Doherty in here on this conversation because when you think about it, I mean, there's some bad mojo going on in that so-called stage going on.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's all a play. It's a ritual.
Oh, yes.
It's what it is. It's a ritual, and they're feeding and giving whoever, Satan or I don't know who they're
talking to, because I mean, if you do the 7 hermetic principles, that you would quickly begin to find out it's just a degree.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean,
but whoever it is, they give it a lot of power.
They certainly do.
It's growing. I saw it.
Yes. So I have a sense that what the attacks I see coming, ladies, and I just want to let our audience know this. You're going to hear this. I can see this. It's going to be brought out, the term paganism, and they're going to start labeling us the reincarnation, the reincarnate of paganism.
Yeah.
Because it works. Does it not?
Of course
it does. I'm just looking at me, it's like, well, are you just don't? Yes, of course it works.
Hello.
That's what I like it. Exactly. It's like my wife asked her, she asked me, she said, dude, she looked fat in that dress. And I said, do I look stupid?
It's a loaded question.
It's like, I don't think so. You answer me first and then I'll answer you.
Yeah. Nice try though, right?
Exactly.
But did you know that the last Pope, who was German, that he actually wanted to bring back the exorcism, that he wanted to train priests again to do exorcisms?
Is that written here? What was his name? Rittinger or?
I don't remember. This goes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
but and right after he was dismissed because of sickness.
Yeah, I'm still figuring this one out. But Anja, I actually have a story that I had pulled up, that there is a bishop in Ireland who is now forming local exorcist groups. Are you ready for this? To deal with those who have been subject or exposed to such things as Reiki, numerology.
There you go.
Other such things that bring the demons in.
Yeah.
Yep. They have them working all along. We're all being attacked. We're all being attacked.
They say that. They say that while the demons sit on each side of their shoulders.
Yeah. And what I found out about demons, that the fact that I don't deny that they don't exist, but I don't see them as these gnarly looking things. Listen, they're spirits, and they're the term demons goes back into the Greek. Listen, these are spirits that can be conjured to do either evil or to good.
Yes.
Right.
And the reason why, as a magician, as I continue to grow, I don't invoke them, is that because I don't need to.
Right. No, exactly.
That's
why I always warn people, stop invoking spirits, asking them questions, because it's not right. First of all, they need to move on. And the ones that are stuck here for too long, you're not going to get the answer you want.
Well, you know what?
What comes to me on that, and this is just the way I think, if you ask for something from an entity or whatever, you're going to be required to give something back. So as long, I do everything in my name. If I can't do it in my name, it ain't going to get done.
Oh, Deborah, well said, because our name is holy unto ourselves.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
If I
sovereignty.
ain't powerful enough, then it's just not going to get done.
Exactly. If my name can invoke it, then why do I even want to bother with it?
Exactly.
Oh, that is powerful, powerful, powerful stuff. And the fact is, there is a price to be paid.
Yes.
I contend, ladies, that what we're really here, and I really do believe this, that I'm a sojourner, and that I'm in training to become a god.
Yes.
Anja, when I see what you've controlled in the elements, Deborah, what I see that you've been able, you are now advancing to what is required for every future God to be.
Yes.
And that is, we have to master the elements and that which is within us.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
All along we had it. We're just awaking again.
We are.
They knocked us out. They knocked out the ancient cultures to hide every knowledge, and bring in their astrologers, their doctors, and whatever, right? And their wizards. And
we're awakening fast.
And that's what they don't like.
We are. We are awakening fast. And I think it's startling, the power base.
Yeah.
One thing, if I could say regarding names, like I use my name when I do certain rituals, but a different name. Like, and witches do that. They give themselves a name, whatever applies to them, and you can do magic with that, invoke, but you're not allowed to give it out, right? Like,
no, that's right. In fact, because I'm learning and I'm meditating on this because I'm searching from within, but I'm designing my own sigil. Because, when I was 16 and, there was a group of devil worshipers that were going to 86 me, and I've told this story that the one guy turned around from the front seat and looked back and he said, "We can't touch him. He's marked." And he saw something right here.
Yeah.
Pointed it out, put the pistol right here to my head. That's why I know it so well. He says, "It's right there." He kept on telling the other people, he says, "You can't see it?"
They were probably like, right.
Well, it's the things that happened after that got very interesting, but it tells me that there's much more to us in our sovereignty than what we realize.
Now, I don't know how this really works, but like for myself, and I believe probably a lot of people in the chat, I believe that we are protected, that we have a layer of protection over us.
I agree.
But, it helps keep anybody from harming us, but we can harm ourselves. Like, we are the only ones. We go stand out in the street and eventually going to get hit by a truck. We go do a bunch of drugs or something that we shouldn't be, but I think we are protected in general, but I think only we can hurt ourselves.
There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
There is so much truth to that.
We decide who we let into our energy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And especially in these times, I notice more and more, that sounds maybe totally crazy, but I notice more and more people that pretend to be spiritual and actually doing the negative kind of magic behind the scenes.
Good point, Anja, because, when you look at the general temperature of society itself, the anger meter has gone off the scale. I mean, everybody seems to be on the freaking edge.
Yeah.
And so something ain't working. I mean, we're seeing evidence of an intensity of a negativity that is, it's bizarre. It really is.
It gets worse every day. I turn around and I get another email. I'm like, what? Like, it's like my weekend is booked already. It's like, okay.
I think you're going to need to expand that out. Oh, well, ladies, the hour is come and gone.
Oh yeah. I could go
Oh,
on for hours.
I'll tell you what. So, Deborah, let's start with you. How can people get in touch with you? How can they be able to get in touch with you and have you make, for them, what I call the elixir? So how can they get in touch with you? And I'll put it in the description when she sends me the information as well, folks.
Okay. On my chakra oils, I make the custom chakra oils. And I have the back and joint pain oils, and I do a face oil. And they can contact me at etheric-essentials.com or gmail.com. And then on the chakra spray that you have, Wayne, that's
Yes, ma'am.
It's a kind of a joint venture that me and Suji are doing. And if anybody's interested in that, they can contact me at soulessentials333@gmail.com.
All right. And you'll send me those and I'll
I
put those into the
sure will.
description as well. Miss Anja, how can people
Yeah.
get in touch with you?
Well, they can contact me under my email address. I have it on my channel too, under about, or if you put it in the link later.
I will.
And also, my friend and me, we're working still on my website right now. I'm going to bring that in, but for now you can contact me under my email, because same as Deborah, I make a custom. I don't have it sitting around. I can make you a tincture for whatever, but it takes about 6 weeks because it's a tincture.
Yeah.
And but I can mix you certain mixes for smudging, whatever you request, or tea mixes.
Anja, and this goes for you, Deborah, as well, and as others, is that if you ever want to do a class, like kind of teach us, which elements that we can use, almost like show and tell, I'd love to do that, because it could almost become a group participation. Could you imagine 180 people working together, mixing these elements, and then getting involved in a community blessing ceremony?
That would be awesome. I'm all in.
Why couldn't we do that? Why can't we do that? And literally do this where we would collectively, wow, I'm just thinking about this. If there's power in numbers, that could be one jolt to the old consciousness.
That would be awesome.
If you think everybody, frankincense, it's just, I don't know, it's just my deal. And I can imagine like everybody having frankincense and doing this ritual together, because it's connecting you to the ether, To me, it's like going off in my head. This would be so powerful to do that.
I had some time ago, a gentleman wrote in the chat room, one of the comments. He said, Wayne, he says, I've watched your programs. He says, you seem to be convinced that there are forces that are using the internet to cast spells with. And I said, yeah, I do believe they are. And so this is an opportunity to do our own casting spells.
To kick back.
Yeah, exactly. I like where you are at. All right, this is all I have to say, Anja. This is how much we love you. That much.
That much.
So that's all I got to say, So, wow. We're going to do this. We are going to do this. This could become an event that, wow, okay, we're going to do this. You two are invited, and let's start getting our own panel, and let's get a list. If you ladies could send out a list, and then when we decide when we're going to do this community blessing, I'll make sure that everyone can make sure that they can have this. And because I don't know of another, I've never heard of anything like this happening in a community setting. Have y'all?
No. Meditations maybe, but not that.
Not that.
Not going full throttle.
Woo, woo. All right, man. I tell you what, you know, I got the Bee Gees going in my head, baby. You know, I got Saturday Night Fever going. That's all I got to say.
Go Wayne. Go Wayne.
There you go.
Well, listen, this is the most powerful magic there is laughter. And
It is.
it is. And, you know, it heals the body. And this has just been great. And it tells me, ladies, that this has been the right show because the energy has never abated. It's just been absolutely wonderful.
It was.
Well, I just want to say thank you both. I want to say thank you to everyone who's watched this. And hey, this has been a far out experience. It
was.
So we thank everyone. We'll see y'all Monday. We'll continue to do our studies. One thing before we go, I want to do this for my good friend. Give me 1 second here, ladies, as I pull this up. For my good friend, Brian, and over there at Milky Way. Come on, folks. Brian is a good man. He's a good man. And let's see if we can get this up a little bit here. You know, he's part of our community. I see you, Deborah, on his channel all the time. Anja, I know you know Brian, Milky Way Weekly.
Yes.
So, folks, sometimes it doesn't need to be a lot, but sometimes, you know, and I know how precious money is these days. But let's see what we can do for Brian here. And Brian, we love you, man. You are a faithful friend, and I really do dig that. That tells me a lot.
Awesome.
He is, you know, you just want to give the guy a big hug and just, you know, say, all right. And Anja, you're becoming, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you're one of the group now. I mean, you've been corralled in, so you can't leave. You know, it's like Hotel California. You can check out anytime you want. You just can never leave.
Never leave.
So welcome, girl. And Deborah, it is a delight to meet you. Please come back on. I want you on this panel. Your energy is exactly the right mix, and we'll get it figured out here. And we're going to do this. We're going to, you know, I'll just say this. There's a lot of sick people that write me. They're looking for that miracle. Mm-hmm. And it weighs heavily on me sometimes because I know it's very difficult to build a house in the middle of a storm.
Yeah.
And life is precious. But ladies, I think taking steps like this is what can bring healing to more people than what we could ever do individually.
Yes, absolutely.
But it will spread out like a network, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We are a network.
Absolutely. We are. Yeah. I agree. Wow.
We reach more and more.
Powerful, powerful stuff tonight. Ladies, you are a joy to my life. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for everyone who's been in and watching, and we'll see you again. Ladies, hold on as we exit out, and we'll talk to y'all real soon. All right.